Hello there and welcome. It's Psychic Cynthia here. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but the energies lately have been quite intense. By the way, happy equinox, happy autumn equinox to you. So I'm filming on the autumn equinox, spring equinox for those of you in the southern hemisphere. And we just had a pretty spectacular, at least astrologically speaking, a spectacular solar eclipse yesterday, a new moon solar eclipse that really encapsulates some of the energies and emotions we're experiencing right now. The closing of doors, but also opening to new beginnings. But there's a lot of tension that comes up around the time of eclipses and the equinox, and it just happens to be that they're pretty much coinciding this year. I don't know if you noticed, but there's been a lot of us have been worked up lately, especially here in the United States. I'm sure it's not just here though, but here with, some of the recent events and, controversies around what happened with a popular podcaster, I'll just say. Popular to some people and not to others, and it was a tragedy for sure, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. Really, I just want to make note that we have been really worked up and thrown out of balance, many of us, by these energies, and even if we hadn't been fall or spring, the time around the equinox is a time of resetting, especially when partnered with an eclipse. So this is a time of rebalancing. The sun just entered Libra, so we're to look at where we need to rebalance, and we definitely need to rebalance right now as a society, and most of us as individuals, because we've been very worked up the last week or two or so. There's been a lot of, heated exchange of words, a lot of temper tantrums, a lot of anger, a lot of grief. And autumn, if you just look at that, energetically speaking, is associated in the Chinese elemental system. It is associated with metal, and also it is associated with the lungs. Okay, and the lungs are about grief, releasing grief, among other things. Of course, if you can just think about the sun entering Libra today, which is an air sign, so that's air is respiratory in the other elemental system. So we want to breathe in and breathe out and let our emotions flow through us. So yeah, you might rebalance your energies right now. That one of the top things I would recommend is to take a beat, take a pause in the next few days and practice some deep breathing. Whatever method you prefer. Really just pausing for a moment, closing your eyes, and just breathing and listening to your breath. Usually if you do that, you'll find it regulates itself, it evens out, it deepens. And so we really want to work energetically with the lungs right now, because we have, at least here in the north, just entered the fall season. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, the organ in the element from that same perspective would be wood and liver. I'm actually going to talk about the liver for all of us, though, in the wood energies, because, okay, here's the thing. With all of us being so worked up and arguing all the time and being aggressive about our opinions, and have you noticed, just let me ask you this, have you felt depleted in energy recently? Really recently, since all this recent controversy really got worked up. Not that there haven't been other controversies this year, there's been so many. So have you felt, have you felt angry all the time? Or even a lot of the time? Which anger, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you don't move it through, and you just keep going back to it, and you're just angry for weeks and months and days and years, it's going to drain you. And at this time, at the beginning of the season of rebalancing, you want to think about that and how you're going to strengthen yourself. So anger has, energetically speaking, a lot to do with the liver. And when we are angry for prolonged periods, we do deplete our liver energies. So you might want to think about, you'll know if you need this. I mean, are you bopping out of bed with a lot of energy and motivation to get things done? Is your inner, you could say your inner get up and go, your inner warrior, your inner general, I mean, however you want to conceive of it, do you have energy? Okay, do you feel like you have that inner youthfulness right now? Or are you dragging? Is it hard for you to get excited even to go do the fun things? Do you feel stuck in a web of anger or frustration? I think there are a lot of people that are feeling that right now, is what I'm saying, as a result of the prolonged anger and internal inflammation. And when I say inflammation here, I mean emotional, spiritual. This is why seeking for the middle path is beneficial. It's, what do they call it? The principle of extremes, relating to yin and yang. If, you go to the excess, the extreme of yang, in this case, it would be a lot of anger being worked up, feeling like you have to, put in your 2 cents about whatever political issue happens to be going on all the time. If you find yourself engaging more in debates about what is in the news than taking care of your own life, yeah, you might be in the excess, okay? The excess of yang, and also depleting your liver energies. So what happens is when we go to the excess of one side, we're going to be drawn back, snap back to the other, whether we like it or not. So yeah, if you get all worked up and inflamed emotionally, your energy levels will plummet. So take some time to restore those. If you need to, take a social media fast. Or at least, well, most people don't have the discipline if they've gotten worked up to just go and look at the things that don't work them up. But if you do, that's fine. But take some time, take a beat to cool down. You can kind of think of yin and yang as being like fire and water. That's not exactly literal, okay, but it helps you. So if you've been in a lot of your fire energy, you might need to balance it with some elemental water energy, so to speak. And, resting, replenishing, engaging in harmonious social connections that are, real social connections, okay, real. And if you don't have any, well, maybe in this season of rebalancing, around this time of the equinox, as we entered Libra, you can start to think about how you might go about cultivating some real social connections, some relationships. Relationships do take tending and cultivating, like a garden. You don't have to have a lot, okay, but you do need some real relationships. I always notice that the people that get most sucked into social media fiery debates and just stay there, they're usually the people that don't have sufficient social relationships in their physical lives, or enough going on there. So yeah, think about that. And if you do feel depleted, if you are noticing that you're lacking in energy, that you're just wore out from being so angry at recent events, which I understand, by the way. I feel you, okay? I don't think it matters what your exact political positions are. If you're a spiritual person watching this video, okay? Spirituality transcends politics, okay? And so I know that if you are a spiritual person watching this video, particularly if you're an empath, I mean, hell yeah, you got to be angry. Your heart has got to be hurting right now for all the ways humanity is treating humanity right now. I feel you, okay? I see you, if that's you. I know what that is like. And I know we also have to take care of our own energies, especially if we are light bearers, if we are, you know, walking that path of empathy, of caring, of, you know, whatever word you want to use for this. If you're an intuitive, you know, not just an intuitive, if you are somebody who's stepping out in service to the world in any way, then you've got to nurture and protect your own energy. So, yeah, I feel you. I understand if you've been angry, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, but like anything else, if it goes to the extreme, I mean, it can hurt you, and it can hurt the people in your life, because what happens? What happens when you get angry and worked up for a long time, and then you get depleted? You start getting sharp with the people around you. You start getting edgy. You know, you start saying, you know, mean things to them. You start criticizing, and, you know, you're just not your real self, okay? And actually, a lot of people are not their real selves right now. I look at some of the things I see on your social media posts, some of you, just maybe not all of you, but a few of you, and some of the people I know, and I know that's not you, okay? Unfortunately, maybe others reading it don't know that, so just keep that in mind. But how do you return back? There's a lot of ways, but I would suggest that just a quick turnaround to get your energy back would be to nurture your liver energies. And there's a lot of ways to do that. I made a tea today, or I'm in the process of making. This is one of these herbal teas that I make. I do a lot of different kinds, but I do have one. I just call it my grounding root tea. It's very good for nurturing so many things, and yes, for getting grounded, but it is good for the liver, among other things. And but if you don't already have your own favorite teas, I mean, you can look to some of the herbs that work, if they work for you. Now, if you're on medication, or if you have a contraindication, you have to consider that, okay? So, but you do what works best for you. What a lot of us do, who are energetic herbalists, what we do to nourish the liver, we might partake of dandelion root tea. I do a lot of teas. You can do tinctures, you can take capsules. I'm not a big fan of dried herbal capsules. I feel like those are actually harder on my liver. I will take them if that's all I can do. So use your, you know, discretion with that. But yes, dandelion root is very nice, can be if you're able to ingest it. Very nice for refurbishing the liver energies. I'm also taking milk thistle extract. I just started today. You can make a tea of milk thistle. I like my teas and things to taste good. For some people, that's not that important. Milk thistle tea is not a winner on the taste in my book, okay? So I would just suggest the tincture if you're going to do that. It's more of a protector for the liver, so it would have been better. Actually, maybe, you know, I'm just going to take it off and on here and there, because I know that strong emotions will arise again. But yeah, the dandelion tea can be drinking by many people frequently. So, and there any of the roots, you want to think about just the energies of fall and going into the roots. So any of the roots that you like, ginger is kind of a root. Actually, I think it's more of a rhizome, but we don't have to get technical here. And I believe that ginger has an association with the lungs, so that would be, you know, the organ of fall. But yeah, to replenish your liver, you know, think about some of those root herbs, and also try to eat some of the fresh fruits and vegetables, the greens, and you can eat seasonally. I have my apple here and the pear, local, very like on this block local. So sometimes the eating of fruits, certain fruits especially, help the liver. And you know how it is. If you're feeling low on energy, you might need to eat a little lighter for a while you regain your strength. Now, you do need to eat, remember that. And if you've been ranting and raving about all that's going on, which again, I understand, you're probably justified, but you're not justified in killing yourself, okay? You're not justified in running yourself down. Don't do that, okay? You can feel whatever you feel, but treat yourself well, treat yourself tenderly, especially in the season of rebalancing. So remember to eat, just eat anything. That might help, support your energy. Just do the basic stuff that you should be doing. You might have been neglecting that. And again, fall time is a good time, the equinox time in particular, and the next week or two ahead, this is a period of adjustment. So adjust your self-care, adjust your nutrition. And there are other things, if you don't want to work with diet, if you don't want to do the teas, if you are, want to approach it more spiritually and mystically. I mean, I wore a green dress the other day to attune with the wood energy, to ignite, more of that. Ignite's not quite the right word, to nurture the liver energies. So yeah, you can focus on the color green. You can meditate on that. That's very healing, very balancing. It's kind of a good midpoint color. I mean, if you're still angry and worked up, you might try meditating on a nice light blue or even a turquoise. Now, if you're feeling really, really tired, I wouldn't meditate on a dark blue, okay? But yeah, these are some ideas for working with your energies to get yourself rebalanced. Something as simple as drinking a root tea or eating some fruit or greens or squeezing lemon in your water can help you to begin to replenish yourself, to bring yourself back to balance. And, think about getting out and having a bit of a social life while the sun is in Libra. Actually, not just while the sun is in Libra. Libra rules the whole season of this equinox between now and the solstice. So you have a few months. Get out and get about, and don't live life just, moping around the house or through screens. Screens are wonderful to help us stay connected in some ways, but we need real life. We need to experience the tangible fruits of the harvest. And sometimes we need to hug and hold each other's hands and be with each other in the physical when we can be. Alrighty, well, I hope you found this helpful, and wherever you are in the world and whatever's going on, whatever time it is, I am sending you many blessings and wishing you a peaceful rebalancing and a time of re-energization, a time when you will feel that second wind, when you will feel the inspiration returning again. May inspiration return to you, and may you feel connected in love to all around you. Bright blessings.